Hey everyone, and welcome! Now, what if I told you there's a secret mantra, an absolutely infallible enchantment that could turn total strangers into your best friends and make impossible tasks, well, possible? Today we're going to dive into a source that reveals this exact mantra. And a little spoiler alert, it has everything to do with the words you and I use every single day. Let's kick things off with the one line that unlocks the whole thing.
So our entire journey starts right here, with this one powerful line of poetry. It basically translates to, enchantment is a mantra. All you have to do is give up harsh words. Now, this isn't just some nice, fluffy sentiment. According to our source, this is the master key. It's suggesting that the most incredible power of influence isn't some complex spell at all, but something way more accessible to every single one of us.
The source actually calls this the infallible enchantment. It describes pleasant, sweet speech not just as a skill you can learn, but as a divine gift. Think of it as a kind of superpower, the most powerful of all enchantments. It's the kind of thing that can pacify enemies, win over friends, and just make the most difficult problems seem to melt away. It's the tool that makes the world want to work with you, not against you.
Okay, but this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? We've all met someone who says all the right things, but something just feels off. You know that feeling? That's because not all pleasant-sounding speech has this true enchanting power. There's a counterfeit version out there, and to really understand the real deal, we've got to unmask the fake one first.
And that leads us right to the absolute core of this whole thing, the battle between deceit and truth. The source draws a really clear line in the sand here, separating that hollow flattery from speech that carries genuine, undeniable power. This breakdown really nails the difference. So on one side, you've got insincere, sweet talk. It might sound nice on the surface, but it's coming from a harsh or deceitful heart. The source says it just reeks of selfishness and arrogance, and because it's so artificial, it just fizzles out. It doesn't last. But then, on the other side, you have true pleasant speech. This stuff is rooted in truth. It's powered by genuine love, and that gives it this special kind of energy, this vitality. The source calls it Ojas, that inspires deep trust and has a real, lasting, positive effect on people.
And let's be super clear on this. The source really hammers this point home. This is not about just becoming a yes man, mindless flattery, telling people what they want to hear, or just agreeing with everything. That's not what we're talking about. That is the counterfeit version. The real thing has substance. It has integrity.
Okay, so if it's not about flattery, where does this authentic power actually come from? Well, the source points to two fundamental ingredients, the two forces that have to combine to give your words that truly enchanting quality. Let's get into how this power is built.
Ingredient number one is truth. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. We all grew up hearing things like, the truth hurts, or the truth is bitter. But our source argues that's a complete myth. It says that truth itself is never, ever bitter. The bitterness we sometimes feel, that comes from the delivery. It comes from the speaker's own hidden anger, or their ego, or that feeling of being separate from the person they're talking to. When truth is spoken from a place of real connection, it's never harsh.
The second ingredient, which is just as important, is love, which really shows up as goodwill. And this is the real magic. The source explains that goodwill is the force that can make even simple, plain words more valuable and more powerful than the most beautiful, flowery language that's totally insincere. It's the intention behind the words that gives them their true weight. All right, so we've got truth and love as our foundation. But what does that actually look like in the real world? What happens? Well, this next part explores the real, tangible effects of speech that comes from a place of genuine goodwill. And let me tell you, the results are, well, they're nothing short of miraculous. 2. This number represents two great kings our source mentions, Emperor Ashoka and King Bhartrhari. These were powerful, powerful men, and both of them were so profoundly moved by words spoken with truth and goodwill that they gave up everything, their vast kingdoms, their immense power, to become simple ascetics. I mean, wow, that's the world-changing power we're talking about. And check out this metaphor for the calming effect of goodwill. It's just beautiful. It suggests that in the presence of someone whose speech is filled with that genuine love, even the most ancient primal conflicts can just dissolve. Natural enemies, the predator and the prey, can find total harmony. It's such a powerful image of what this kind of energy can create.
So think about what it feels like to be on the receiving end of this. When you hear someone speak from that place of truth and love, the experience is totally captivating. The source says you feel this immense joy.
You might even forget about basic things like being hungry or thirsty, and you just want to keep listening as their words seem to dissolve right into your heart. It's completely irresistible.
This all sounds incredible, right? But how does a person actually get this ability? Well, this next part, the mastery of speech, shows us that it's not about learning clever phrases or winning debates. The source presents it as a deep internal practice. It's about mastering yourself first, and then your speech naturally follows.
So here are the 3 pillars of that practice. First, self-control. Having the discipline to not just blurt things out from a place of anger or ego. Second, selflessness. Getting beyond your own selfish wants to actually consider the well-being of other people. And third, actively, consciously cultivating a feeling of love and goodwill for everyone. See, it's a total inside-out job.
And here's where it all leads. The absolute peak of this journey is this profound shift in how you see the world. When you genuinely start to see a part of yourself in every other person, every animal, every living thing, well, then this powerful, pleasant speech isn't something you have to practice anymore. It just becomes who you are. The source even says that at this stage, nature itself starts to respond to you with harmony.
So, we end with a question for you to really think about. What we've seen today suggests that our words have this latent, almost magical power, just waiting to be unlocked. Not by tricks, but by truth and by love. So the question to take with you is this: what power do your words really hold? And what could you create in your world if you chose to use it with goodwill? Thanks for joining me.